What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bluegrass State of Mind, the show where three college roommates talk life, sports, and all the ridiculous things that happen in an apartment we like to refer to as Room 302. We're bringing you stories, hot takes, and the kind of late-night debates that probably should have stayed in the group chat.
So grab your headphones, sit back, and get ready for a wild ride through our past college life, sports, and everything in between. Let's get into it. This is Bluegrass State of Mind.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. Thank you all for hopping on with us this morning, this afternoon, nighttime, whenever it is. We appreciate you all for tuning in to some Bluegrass State of Mind. As always, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you are watching us via YouTube. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Music, or the Apple Podcasts, we're still on also socials for Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. So go ahead and hit a follow button. And as always, I can't say it enough. We do look at this stuff. We see the comments. We enjoy going back and forth and just saying you all love you some Bluegrass State of Mind. So quick lineup real quick. Fellas, I feel like this is a good thing to do, just kind of give them a heads up, like what to look forward to, just in case, like some people, they want to listen to Kentucky stuff. They don't really want to listen to maybe golf stuff. And that's okay. Some people really are really not Kentucky fans, but do want to listen to golf stuff. So just so you know, for your knowledge, foreshadowing what tonight's going to look like, we're going to talk a little bit UK basketball updates. Then we're going to get into some BSM from the stands. We'll have a little segment about sports, all-star games. Then I have a little game for us with this time. I'll go ahead and tell you all. It's the same game, but it's going to be with sporting events. So pretty fun, I think, there. We'll bring the dollar amount a little less than that. And then the rest of the night, we're going to talk a lot of different golf stuff. We have the Open coming up, talking about Scotty missing the cut. We got some overrated golfers we'll get into. So just a lot of different sports stuff tonight. And then if we have time, we will get into the whole daylight savings time thing that's been going on. So majority of sports, but so for those who are listening, that's kind of what you're going to be looking forward to. Stay with us if you can for the entire episode. So here we go, fellas, starting off with some UK basketball. Nicola Costa Rica, however you want to say it. Some people make fun of me for saying it. I don't care. But he said it to UCLA. Yeah, that's right. He said it to UCLA. It was one of those things where last week we did mention that, he hadn't really made a decision. It was, people were coming out saying that he was going to go to UCLA, but then it was reports that, Kentucky still could be involved. But then a little bit after that, he does make a commitment to Mike Cronin and the UCLA Bears. So, Colton, we kind of touched on this a little bit, but I know for one, you really wasn't one, and not that any of us were, but I just specifically remember you saying, like, this is one of those deals, like, it is what it is. We already have this roster built. So moving forward, not really giving him any attention. What does this mean for Kentucky? What does this mean moving forward, knowing that, hey, we missed out on this guy? Was it somebody that we really heavily pursued? Yes, probably. But at the same time, knowing we had, what we already had in our back pocket is going to work, hopefully.
Yeah, based on everything I've said, I've read from you, and the thing is, he could end up being a star this year, but it seems like physicality and some other things, he's going to need a year to grow. So he essentially, I think he could have got some playing time. I'm not saying like he would have. I just don't think he would have been like a big factor for us this year. And the truth is, I don't know the type of contract he just signed with UCLA. I think everyone's just assuming that it's like, oh, he's 2 years in. I did see something where he technically will turn like 18 or something in April, and he could essentially decide to go to the draft if he wants to. So that whole like, oh, well, we got him for 2 years. So if we really got him, there's no guarantee that he's even here next year when we think that they think he could be a lottery pick. I just think he could have possibly been someone to fill that last roster spot, but I just don't know that this year he would have been the best fit right now, especially for what he was probably requiring in NIL. I just don't think that it was going to be worth it to spend it on him, not knowing what the future may hold next year. So I'm not that disappointed on the loss of him as much as the other guy that we'll talk about here in a second.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna get right into because I just don't want to spend too much time there. I just don't think we've talked a little bit about it. Let's shift gears though to Marcus Spears Jr. Mason, this was a major blow. It was. So this, if you don't know who Marcus Spears Jr. is, he was the number one player in the 2027 class, going to be with the same class as Ryan Hampton, who was the 5-star, dropped to the 4-star that Kentucky has. Also is cousins with Marcus Spears Jr. And still referencing to Ryan Hampton, he was cousins with Marcus Spears Jr. However, though, news drop, Marcus Spears Jr. signs with Texas. He was the number one player in the 2027 class. However, he has decided to reclassify to the 2026 class and will be on this year's Texas Longhorns men's basketball program. Kentucky was involved, but it never. It's the way that we always are. Anytime Kentucky's involved, as Kentucky fans, we're like, oh, baby, this could be but it was never really reported that we were in the favorite or even really heavily mixed in. We was just making assumptions, I feel like, based on the connection that Ryan Hampton had. However, though, I got 2 talking points for us on this. Number one, Mason, Texas they're going to be really good. Like, even before Marcus Spears, we know that they spent a lot of money. I believe, didn't we talk about like they're the number 1 or 2 team in the SEC with like NIL? Like they went out and they have a really, really good roster. So the first talking point, I guess let's kind of get into with this whole Marcus Spears Jr. is, what's this going to do for Texas? Like, as far as is it going to elevate them that much more? Were they in a spot kind of like Kentucky where they were good? This is just going to make them even better. Were they desperate need of it? And I know we don't know a ton about Texas's roster probably, but just in general, what we know about Marcus Spears Jr. and what he can bring to the table. Mason, immediately thoughts on that as far as referencing, Texas. Of course, we're going to talk about them because they're in the SEC. We play them there on the road this year. Going to be a tough one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think they had a great roster, even before they were able to get Spears to reclassify and come in. I think their guard's Isaiah Johnson. I think he was going to be a solid guard too. I think he's a little bit underrated, so it'll be interesting to see, do they run both of them? Then you have Okatitis coming back. You have Punch that they got to transfer in from TCU. So in my eyes, honestly, depending on what happens down there at Florida, but I'd say they're right up there with Florida as one of the favorites in the SEC Florida right now. And that was one of the things that Spears kind of alluded to. I was reading an article whenever they kind of questioned him about, his reclass and going to Texas. He's a Texas kid and all these things. And he just said, they're trying to rebuild that program there. And he was like, that's what I plan to go in here and do, is help rebuild this program. And I think we got a great team. So I think it's always good to, and we've seen it over the past couple of years, right? Like how much better the SEC has gotten and how brutal the SEC has been over the last couple of years. So obviously I think it's good for the SEC. And I think, yes, it kind of beats up on us a little bit during the season, but obviously Texas is going to be good. And, they got a great coach. And so I think they are in the process of rebuilding. I feel like, and this is kind of not really switching gears or off topic because it's Texas, but I feel like there's been a lot of hype around football over the last few seasons, and it hasn't really turned into what they wanted. And now, they're starting to bring in some players. They're starting to make some noise in basketball. So it'll be interesting to see if, there's a lot of money in Texas. It'll be interesting to see if some of those boosters, some of that money starts to, pile in for basketball as well, depending on how they do this season.
Yeah. And keep in mind, Texas, like, I remember getting on the podcast and telling y'all and texting y'all how bad Texas was in that SEC tournament. Let's keep in mind, they played
so much better.
Like they remind me of, they remind me of the Arkansas and Cal's first year. They get hot at the right time. They build that momentum. And then all of a sudden you look at an Archie Miller completely different than you did. Right. Not
Sean Miller.
Sean Miller. You look at Sean Miller, completely different than what you would have had they not went on that run. Like, I'm serious. Like, they were booty cheeks. They were terrible. Like, when I was on the front row. Me and Daddy made our way down there, and I was like, I looked and I said, this team is terrible. Like they were unorganized. It was unorganized chaos, not organized chaos, unorganized. But then they go on a run and everything just starts clicking. They had the players, they had the
I was
talent.
gonna say
It
they had the
shows.
talent.
They had it. It just wasn't clicking. Another thing, and then I'll get into Coach, and I want to hear your thoughts on something. You know, for those who don't really understand this reclassifying thing, you better get used to it. Because I was listening to I guess it was, I don't know if it's KSR or if I listened to a video. I was listening to somebody and you know, they was pretty much making the statement like, you're going to see a lot more of this. Why? Well, you answer the question. Why would you go back to high school when you can go make millions of dollars? I mean, logistically, and guys, we're talking about people who know they're probably going to have a future in the NBA. If they're getting paid that much money, they're not just going to college to be there 4 years. Like Marcus Spears Jr. is #1 player in the class. This may only fit a select few of people, but it's going to fit them perfectly because they're going to get the best of both worlds. They're going to be able to go to college, play at a high level, and get money quick, and then go bounce to the NBA. I mean, why would you go if you know you're going to be an NBA player and your future looks bright? You're probably going to go do that and not worry about your last year of high school. It's going to be happening a lot more. Would you all agree with that?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So Colton, the next talking point with this whole Marcus Spears Jr. is a little. I don't even like bringing it up, but it's realistic. We got to talk about it. So here we are again. Colton, should fans be concerned a little bit, you know, again, about Kentucky missing on a possible another elite recruit? Now, I don't want to contradict myself because I don't want to say that Kentucky was just like actively, because I don't know. I just, it's one of those things that we don't know. It never came out. However, though, I think we'd be silly to not recognize that surely to goodness we were involved, knowing the connection that Ryan Hampton had, as well as I think didn't Mo Williams have a connection there as well with him, or was that
Probably.
I mean, like
from AAU somewhere.
yeah, and I could be wrong about that, but again, we see another big fish, like we like to reference, not even really, I guess, show interest. He like it, so like it just. How do you think fans are reacting to that? Is it one of those things that because he's reclassifying, it's not as big of a deal because it's this year's class? Would it make it look worse had he stayed in the 2027 class? Have you even thought about that? Has that crossed your mind?
Yeah, I think my first thoughts go to it's probably not going to seem as bad because we didn't hear the whole, hey, Kentucky's a lead runner, or he's come for a couple visits and they went really good. Like we're thinking we've got a good chance, and then all of a sudden he picks a different school, right? Like we've heard a couple of times from these other guys during the offseason. So I don't think it'll be as bad in that aspect. I think the worst thing that you're looking at is, man, there's just still too many schools in the SEC that are dominating recruiting that's not Kentucky. Right now, you've got Florida, Arkansas, Texas for sure are all recruiting way better than Kentucky right now. And that's concerning. I mean, that's concerning because that should not be an issue for us, given their NIL and their history and where our program is supposed to be amongst the standards and what players wanted to used to come here for. And I know that there's money involved now, but that still shouldn't be a big issue. You know, like Texas basketball money, even though I know Texas has a lot of money, should not be that much more than Kentucky basketball money. It really shouldn't. And it's neither should Florida or should Arkansas. And it's just concerning to the sense of I don't think the fan base is going to react that much to this unless he goes and drops 30 on us when we go down there. I think that will hurt a little bit more. But because because he's a Texas kid, he wasn't like on campus a ton, and we thought we might get him 100%, and then he chose Texas. I don't think that the fans will react in that way like they may have with some others. But that's more my concern is I'm looking at these other schools thinking, man, they are just taking players left and right and getting them. And like the one guy we have now is now a 4-star. And nothing against, I hope Hampton's going to be, good. I think he can be. I just think that, man, we were real excited about 2 or 3 weeks, and now I'm just thinking where mood might be right now. Like, are we as excited right after we got him,
Well, what I'm hearing, Mason, pretty much what I'm hearing from Colton, and I want to hear your take on it. Whenever you're talking about equal playing fields, and all you're really comparing is brands. A Kentucky brand, an Arkansas brand, a Florida brand. When looking at it in that perspective, money is the same as he's stating, and you're just looking at the brand itself. It really makes us swallow our pride, because it's one of those things that it's like, this is uncharted territories, and we've been talking about that, but like, I mean, is that not what you're hearing? I mean, pretty much like, and for you, Mason, and that's still a sore subject for me, because it's just like, even in the past 5 or 6 years, if somebody says, well, it's been going on for 5 or 6 years, I don't care. I don't care that it's been going for 5 or 6 years. It's still a sour taste in my mouth that I don't want to get used to.
Yeah, and here's my take on the Costa Rica and the Spears. I'm not super upset about either one of them. Like, neither one of those really like make me lean one way or the other about how I feel about like missing on the big fishes or landing the big fish, right? Because I feel like, we talked about Costa Rica with the coach and the Serbian national team and all those things, right? Like, I feel like there was connections there. We talked about Spears being a homegrown kid. I'm not super worried about these guys, but the thing that there's still a part of me deep down that doesn't know if Mark Pope has it, right? Like, yes, he landed Milan, but we've talked about it. Like, the scenario around that was, when it boiled down to it, who was really left? Who could compete for it? And at the end of the day, it doesn't, like, these kids don't care about brand anymore, right? They don't care about the Kentucky tradition and, how great Kentucky basketball has been in the past. The thing that they're looking at right now, because like Colton said, money. Yes, we could probably offer $5 million. Texas can probably offer $5 million. Arkansas can probably offer $5 million. So what's the deciding factor in all these things? It's whoever's leading the horses, right? And it's Mark Pope up against John Calipari and Sean Miller and, Todd Golden, Dan Hurley, all these other guys. And right now, he still hasn't proven that he can go into a battle and win a recruiting battle against those guys. And that's what worries me the most. Like, these two don't necessarily worry me, because I don't think that it was ever really like a lock to get one of these guys. And then, he kind of fell off. He still has to prove something to me. And that's my biggest worry, because he hasn't done that yet. And I don't know that he can get it done. Like, he really hasn't, when the playing field is level and everything's the same, he hasn't proven that he can get the job done yet. And that these two aren't what worry me, but deep down, like, yes, I'm still a little worried about recruiting moving forward. And yes, I know he had a good run there for a couple of weeks, and, hats off to Mark Pope for landing those two guys and Milan and Ryan Hampton. But there's still a part of me, like, we just got to see more, right? Like, obviously the number one player for next year, he's gone now, right? So you can't get him. He reclassed. So let's see what he does with some of these incoming guys, and even the transfer portal again, right? Like, we didn't land any of those top guys at first. We had to wait until there was basically nobody left, and Milan comes back, and all these teams have run out of money, and we still almost didn't get him from, what I was reading. Like, there was other teams that were about to take him away from us, and, we were able to pull him in. But that's my biggest concern right now. When it's head-to-head and it's a level playing field, can Mark Pope still get the job done? Yeah, proven.
And, we also haven't even really touched on this, but I just thought of this. If you really think about it, if you read into what Milan's quotes and statements are, it's kind of not scary, but it's kind of funny. I know, ironic, but funny, because if you listen to the statements I made, he referenced a Mark Pope, and that's why he did come. But when did he reference him, and when did he compare him? Was it a Mark Pope whenever he was at Kentucky, or was it a Mark Pope at BYU? Do y'all remember?
I didn't hear his quotes. I didn't see him.
Well, he was talking about, he was making statements about his offense that he ran at BYU. Same person, different school. So again, I know you're like, where are you going with this? I'm going with this, like, he basically, I'm not saying he that's the reason why he came here, but he's referencing a coach at a different school, what he done at that other school, opposed to what he's doing present right now at Kentucky, which goes back to what Mason is saying. Like, we haven't seen it. We got to see it, especially at Kentucky. Does that make sense? Maybe not. Maybe I was like, but like, I just thought that was kind of He's saying stuff alluding to the time when he was at BYU and not at Kentucky. Now, he did say some stuff at Kentucky as well, but he specifically was also talking about the offense that he ran at BYU. Talking about, some recruits, let's get into our last little segment here with the basketball stuff. LJ Kaysen. Guys, we still have a final roster spot. This guy is a 6'2" combo guard from Lakeland, Florida. He is formerly known for his time at Michigan under Dusty May. We all know that Dusty May went to the Dallas Mavericks to the NBA. He was a former top 100 recruit. His 2025-26 campaign, he averaged 8.4 points per game, 2.4 assists, shot the ball at 40% from three-point, 50.3% field goals. Again, 6'2" combo guard. We have an open spot, Colton. And this is one of those things like, he's another guard. I think that you're looking at now you would have a Mason Williams, a Morton, and this guy if we were to pick him up. But I don't know that that's where we're needing somebody. I'm really starting to worry more and more about the 5 spot. I mean, who are you going to put behind Marino? We're going to throw in Reese Potter. We're going to throw in.
We got the tank. We got Frank the tank.
But I know, but I'm not.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of scoring at a 5, but I don't know that those guys are out. I'm more worried. I'd rather find a guy that could give you 10 minutes a game, but shoot 45% from 3. I'm looking at the 3 spot. I'm looking at. He doesn't have to be anyone else but someone that comes off
40.2% from 3.
Hold on, time out. I don't want to. Y'all know he's coming off an ACL injury too, right?
Yeah,
I know he's coming off an ACL injury.
Yeah, no, I did not know that.
I know. I'm not big on. I just saw a lot of things like, hey, like I don't know if we had a lot of interest in him at one point, and so like Kentucky's kind of been linked to him a little bit about as far as like bringing him in, or is it just because we have a final roster spot? But now also I think we're putting a lot of faith in kind of 2 wild cards in Diallo and Wilkins. Also, and you're coming off a guy who just played for or just was on a national championship team. So, I mean, you have someone a little more proven, or at least on a team and under a guy that has been proven. We're just kind of the other ones are a little more wild cards. So that would be the only reason you kind of bring him in if you're looking for a little more depth in that position and a little more maybe security as far as what you may get.
But when we're talking about depth, like I'm really worried about that 5 spot because, you talk about Frank the Tank. I look at Frank the Tank as one of those situational players. Mason, back in high school, and you even see it now in college, whenever you go up against a team who has that big, rough stud who just needs a little bit of physicality put on him, not the entire game, but, a couple 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, come in and just show a different body, a different style of play. That's what Frank the Tank hits me as, that type of player. Not going to get in there and really – I know he can block shots. I know that. But, like, I'm talking like Colton said, offensively. Like, so then it comes to that, like, other than Malachi, I mean, like, I don't know nothing about Reese Potter. I don't know. Like, so, like, that's why I'm sitting here like, who are we going to throw in there at that spot when Malachi's drained or is in foul trouble? Like – are we really going to rely on how old's Frank the Tank? 25, 26, who I don't know his offense. Like he just don't hit me as, and I'm not saying we have to.
But he's and he's injury prone too. I mean,
yes, injury prone. Yes. So like, it's kind of like, okay, where are we going to go?
No, I
that's
agree.
My concern.
I agree. I just don't. I don't think there's 7-footers out there with an offensive game right now, so I think that one's out the door. I agree. We need it 110%. We need offensive backup or someone that can provide some offensive. So I think you have no choice but to go small more often than
not.
On
at the 5 if you need to, or something.
5 or McBride. Even what is he? 6'8", 6'9"? Like you might have to have somewhere that you have a 6'8" or 6'10" guy playing the center row. I mean,
which matchups? Yes, you can do that. But when I'm immediately, the team I'm thinking of, like we can't run that lineup against Florida. Like,
we just can't.
Either they're going to have we're going to give up in the paint, and they're going to have to come out and guard us. It just depends on like what night it's going. Mason, get us into BSM from the stands.
So BSM from the stands, Colton was mentioned earlier. He kind of saw real with talking about it was really talking about kind of players and fan feedback and things like that. And he talked a little bit about Hunter Dickinson, who had started a podcast recently and had mentioned that they were basically ready for the season to be over because of fan feedback, and all the noise they were hearing from fans. He brought up the Caden Boozer thing. And I think it was Matt Jones was talking about how both Pope and Cal had kind of alluded to, that potentially hurting on the recruiting trail and, other schools using that against us. So just want to take a quick second. I know we've talked a little bit, maybe not about this specific thing, the reel that we're talking about in Hunter Dickinson and things, but I know we talked a little bit about this before, but what's y'all's take on, we know BBN's passionate, right?
Like I think it's the reel that where it was titled, "Is BBN to blame?" or something. Was that the reel?
I can't remember. It just popped up randomly right before I got on this, or before we started tonight, and I was just listening to it. And I feel like it's, like I said, I don't think it's anything just recent. It happened after the NCAA tournament, obviously, because he was referring to Caden Boozer thing. So it's been since in the last 3 or 4 months, but I don't think it's anything like last week or just this week.
Right. I think I know what you're talking about. It's one of those, though, where it says, I got you right here. It says, BBN isn't the problem. Here's the truth about Mark Pope. I think that was the one, because we talked about how people maybe be blaming Big Blue Nation. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think that was the reel you're talking about. But go ahead, Mason.
Yeah. No. I was just going to kind of see, how do you feel about that? Is it, because obviously, like, Pope's kind of voiced his opinion. Cal voiced his opinion. They both kind of had the same thing, but Cal didn't really have trouble getting people here. Pope did. So what's y'all's kind of take on that? And just tell me what your thoughts are.
You want me to go ahead?
Go ahead.
Give it to us, Bulldog.
So I think it's two different. Hold back. So I think there's two different issues here, and the issue I say for Cal, I think the issue was mentally, because I think the biggest thing you always heard from Cal was not necessarily the recruiting part, because he didn't struggle. Even when he left, we had the number 1 or number 2 recruiting class in the back, like before he left. But he would talk about how, like, after you could hear it after press conference, he'd say, "Hey, blame me, like come at me, like these kids are." And that was always his focus towards it. But the more he started coming out with that more and more, because you started seeing it. And I think he had conversations with several kids especially since COVID, that they were having trouble. They were seeing things on social media that were affecting their play, and he could see it. And he felt like they were discouraged, and he was having to take them under their wing. And like that was his biggest fear, as much as it was recruiting, and where I feel like Mark Pope's thing is like more of the recruiting, right? Because I'll be honest with you, I don't think I think there's been times when we've been a little hard on players, but I don't feel like we've been that hard on the players the last couple of years. I don't know about y'all, but if you think about it, like I don't look at these guys and be like, oh wow, they're, I think they've been what they are. I mean, that's the truth. Like we didn't have some of these guys come like a Scala BCA or something like that. They come in and was not very, like, we haven't had those high ranked guys that are supposed to be coming in, going to the NBA.
So it was mostly like looking at Pope and like, hey, why didn't you bring in better players? Like we never expected.
We're not looking at the players where those, I feel like a player didn't perform, our immediate reaction was to kind of go with that player. And we haven't really done that for the last couple of years. So I think it's more, when you talk about recruiting, I think Pope is probably blaming the fan. Like, I think he would be more blaming the fans on the recruiting aspect of it, where Cal would be more on blaming like the mentality or like a player's performance on it. And overall, they're probably just excuses. They really are. I mean, Big Blue Nation is passionate. I do think in the day and time we live in with technology that it is worse, and it's just almost impossible not to hear the noise. And especially you give a kid millions of dollars at 18 years old, he's going to have an iPhone and he's going to be on Twitter and he's going to be on social media. I don't care what you say. Like, they don't have the maturity to sit there and say, I'm deleting all social media. I'm putting my phone away during basketball season. I'm locked in. And that's still not going to stop him from walking down campus and someone getting a randomly yelling, "You're terrible," or those boos that we heard at the Gonzaga game, right? Like, when they go to the halftime locker room, when we were there, they were loud.
They deserved.
They deserved. I mean, they were loud though. So
yeah,
I do think there is an impact there, but I think there are so many more rewards and benefits to this fan base that should outweigh those comments, because they're everywhere. I don't care where they're at. You're going to get those comments at every school. And I just think that there's so many more benefits to being part of Big Blue Nation that should outweigh what you hear from the negative side of things. And so I think that they are just excuses in a lot of ways, somewhat trying to protect the kids, but I think they're excuses.
DG?
No, I agree. I mean, just mentally weak. That's what it is. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I'm just sitting here thinking about, as small of a platform as we have right now, we've received very ugly comments. I mean, we've looked at them together, and it's funny.
Here's
all right, who cares? And like, some people, okay, perfect example is my wife, Claire. Like, she's like looked at it like, I can't believe they said that, and I look at it, I was like, I don't even, first off, read them half the time, because I mean, unless like if I
do,
see
because I like to
something,
laugh at them.
well, if I see something right away that, like, the first comment and I see it's something ugly, then I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna give my time to that person. For these kids, obviously, I'm 29 years old. Maybe whenever I was 18, 19, 20, I might be. I don't know. However, though, I also think about it this way too, and this is from the player's perspective. So, and then I'll shift gears real quick to the coaching. Like, as a player, Mason, when we were playing basketball college, and the same way with you, Colton, you could the environment obviously is a lot different, because there's not the crowd that, you wouldn't ever at a golf course hear a booze, but you could in a stadium, like you are referencing to. But in the moment, I'm not thinking about what social media is going on. Like, that's not crossing my mind in the moment. There's a lot going on. Like, I don't see anybody, if they do that, they are mentally just not, I don't know why they're even playing. But you do react to what's happening in real life, in real time. And if you are not performing right then and there, like they weren't in Nashville, then yes, then you will start really feeling it and hearing it. Like, so for the ones on the online perspective, you just like that, you just got to deal with that. That's mental stuff. Don't get on there and scroll all night. If it's actually happening in real time while you're playing ball, though, yeah, you got to get that fixed. I mean, I'm not saying you deserve to be booed, and you will be booed, but you're at one of the most prestigious programs.
Gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Hey, you're getting paid now. Listen,
Yeah.
listen. If I can get yelled at, or a police officer can get yelled at by their captain for making 50 grand a year, you can get yelled at by fans when you're making $1 million playing basketball.
Yeah,
I just want to say, though, like you brought up, like when we were playing, like I just used to kind of like look at them, like the people in the crowd. I just kind of used to look at them, just like kind of laugh a little bit. Like, you're sitting up there in the stands, and I'm over here playing college basketball, and you're sitting here trying to clown me and make fun of me. Like, obviously, I'm pretty good at what I'm doing, or I wouldn't be out here playing basketball. Like you can say whatever you want. It really doesn't bother me. I would just kind of laugh it off, and I don't. I guess I get it to an extent of why these players, some players just don't have, like you said, Dylan, the mental toughness to be able to get through that. But like, whenever people leave us comments, like, it just makes me I know y'all wouldn't want me to, but it makes me just want to comment back to them and start clowning them too. Like, here, I'm going to give you a taste of your own medicine, and I'm going to go back and forth with you, and I can do this all night, brother. Like, this entertains me. This is fun to me.
Just unleash Mason.
We can, y'all should.
Like that.
Y'all let
And then, real quick, and then we got to get off here about the Kentucky stuff. But the last thing I'll say is the coach's perspective, it all comes down to this job is not for everybody. Not everybody wants to be the man in the arena. And if you ain't going to want to be the man in the arena, then Kentucky is not for you. And it's not built for everybody. And that's really all I got for that part of it. Let's move on to the next one. All right. So, Colton proposed this question. We just came off the MLB All-Star Weekend. Didn't watch any of it. Didn't know it was even going on. Did see highlights of the home run derby. It looked pretty exciting given the circumstances. Watched the little sandlot thing that they done, which I thought was pretty awesome. However, though, Colton said, let's talk about this. Thinking about All-Star weekends, regardless of the sport, basketball, football, baseball, really those are your three dominant sports in America. But when looking at that, should professional sports do away with all-star games, or maybe make a change at the least, maybe making it after the season? When you're talking about after the season, you're more getting into the NBA or NFL Pro Bowl, because that occurs not after the season, but it's like the week before the Super Bowl. It's technically.
Explain what happened during the MLB All-Star.
Yeah, and the reason I want to bring up this question is because obviously football has went away from, they now do a flag football game, right? And they do different games. They no longer, the last couple of years, they no longer play an actual padded football game. The NBA game, we know what it's about. You're going to drop 200 points, and they might try in the last 5 minutes in the new setup, right? They're to try to reach a certain amount. The MLB is the one game where, up until a few years ago, the winner of that game got to host the World Series. It was for something.
Got home field advantage. Right?
Got home field advantage in the World Series, either the NL or the AL, whoever won it. So that team would get home field advantage. And that was up until 3 or 4 years ago, which I loved. I was like, if you're going to have this type of game, make it worth something. Right? That's what I always thought the NBA should do. Make it worth something. Do East versus West and make it whoever gets a home court advantage. However, the baseball game now is no longer doing that. And if you're watching, one of the Tampa Bay Rays, Junior Caminero, got hit by a pitch last night in the wrist, and the Rays are in first place. He's their top player right now, and I don't know how bad it is, but the odds are he's going to be out for a little bit. And just like that, for a meaningless game in the middle of the season, you may have lost your best player while you're in first place. And so I thought to myself, is that really worth it? Was that worth? I mean, at what point would a player not want to get up there and bat? Right? Knowing Paul Skeens was in the game, that Mirosowski from the Brewers, who was throwing 105 right now. I mean, who wants to get up there for a meaningless at bat and take a 105 fastball off the elbow or the bat? Who wants to do that? And so it just raised the question. I'm like, if it's not going to be worth anything, it no longer was now, as far as winning home field advantage for whatever, then why even have it? I mean, I don't think that I know the home run derby gets exciting, but the game itself, why really even have it? And just in general, football. I mean, football's gotten pointless. When's the last time y'all watched a football? I'm not going to watch flag football. I'm not going to watch it. So
here's my take on it. I think if it's not going to be worth something, then I think you just do these more exciting events, right? Like the slam dunk contest and the 3-point contest, and maybe a skills contest, and the home run derby, and maybe you do some type of skills competition in the NFL. They usually have the QBs throwing and trying to hit targets. Do more of these type of things, because at the end of the day, if it doesn't mean nothing and these players are out there not really trying and don't really care about it, and it doesn't mean anything, then what's the point of taking that risk of somebody getting hurt and getting injured, right? And I know it's still kind of fun to watch, the NBA All-Star game. Yes, it's still kind of fun to watch these guys go out there and, kind of mess around and do things. But at the end of the day, what is the point? And you know what it is, right? Like, we can sit here and say this, but it's all about money, is all it
Oh
is,
yeah.
right? Like, that's all it is. And at the end of the day, they're risking these players to be able to make another buck. And after watching that last night, that's kind of why the NFL moved away from it. Like, why are we doing this? It's pointless. It really is. Like, yes, it puts on a show and the fans get excited and they pay money to come watch it, but just do some of these other things, like these small events, the dunk contest, home run derby, the things like I said, to try to have these events still going, but you don't have to have a full-blown all-star game when it means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I agree. I say get away with it all. It makes no sense. I will say this. This really doesn't have anything to do with the All-Star weekend and the game itself, but I do like how there was a new thinking, like a change, and I think it has been good. You can see it. I think the ratings prove it. Is the NBA has the NBA Cup now? Like
Yeah.
they did something different,
Mhm.
and it's kind of because it's such a long season. Like if you actually did watch the NBA Cup, guys were really trying like it was the playoffs.
Yeah.
And although it was like almost at the first quarter of the season, it gave them something to play for, because it's such, like I said, and when you think of baseball, how many games is there, Colton? Like 160 or
162.
162 games? So like I don't know how you could do that. I don't know what that looks like,
Right.
but you could maybe do something in order for it. Like if you did drop the All-Star game, like Mason was saying, and you still decided to do the home run, then pick up something like the NBA Cup or something like that. Whereas like now the NBA, do the NBA Cup, drop the All-Star game, but still do the Saturday night stuff and make it and find it innovating. Like try something different,
But yeah, do something single elimination, right?
Mhm.
Like baseball is such a series, and it's so heavy reliant on pitching, right? Because you pitch, you have your starting pitcher after he pitches, he's not pitching again for 4 5 days. Why don't you have a week-long tournament of single elimination and see who's last standing, right? You knowing that your starter is not going to get the pitch again till maybe you make the championship on Thursday, but you got to go 3 days so you
Mhm.
got to really see it all. And I mean, at that point, who knows who could win, right?
Well, it's just
I
like with
mean,
everything. Times are changing, and you either get with it or you get left behind. It's just what you're saying in NIL and college. So no, that's a good thought. I mean, and I think that it really stings for the Rays. I didn't realize that. Again, I had
yeah,
no idea what was going on. Didn't know anything
Yeah.
about it.
I seen it.
I'm
It
not
looked bad.
yeah,
And I'm pretty sure I read something. I think X-rays came back negative, but he's still
yeah.
going to be out for a
Oh,
little
yeah, he'll
bit.
be out a little bit. I mean, just saying
Yeah.
it is.
Could have been a
But
lot worse.
if you were the franchise of the Rays, then yeah, like ownership and stuff, you're probably like you are
Why? Yeah.
so
Why would you send a player there next year? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, why would
Mhm.
you? And I know they have
Fire the
incentives. Like,
coach.
I know that
I
they
don't
get
care if you're in first
paid.
place.
Right? They're getting paid to come there. If you make an
Yeah, but
all-star, you get a certain bonus.
like
You
you
get a
said, make
certain
it like the
thing. Like,
Cup where there's money on the
right.
line, or something
Yeah,
like
or
that.
go
Like,
back to it. Like, that's fine. You're gonna get
Yeah.
hurt if you're number one seed in the AL right now,
Yeah.
and you're trying to make a World Series, and you're trying to play for home field advantage against like the Dodgers that you might run into later
Right.
on. Well, yeah, that home advantage may be a big difference in you winning that
Make it
series.
worth
Right.
something if you're
So
going
make
to
it
do it.
worth something. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't
Right.
know why they went away from that, but I definitely would go back to that.
All right, we're going to hit the middle spot of this part. This actually episode's going to go a little bit longer for tonight, but hey, we're rocking and rolling. It's a really good one. Stick with us. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a break. Or not take a break. We're going to continue on the sports, but it's going to be our game where we draft, and then for the rest of the night it'll be golf stuff. So at this point in the episode, hopefully you're here. Stay with us, and then for golf fans, you just wait. We'll get right into it. All right, so we're going to do the same thing we did last week. You have now though $15 because Colton walked away with like $8 left. So I'm gonna have you got
Savings account.
$15, Mason, and we're going
15.
to do
Okay.
$15, and you have sports events. Okay.
Okay. This
Make
is in like attending them live in person.
yes, and
Okay.
this is like it if it's an event that is 3 days, 4 days, a week, however, it's for the entirety of it. Okay.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm not. I'm taking back. I'm not saying you. I'm not. You don't physically have to be there. Let's take that It's just in general, like that's what you want on
Watching
your
it on
team.
TV.
Watching
everything.
it on TV. Yes,
Okay.
everything.
All right.
Y'all follow me? Okay.
Yep.
Mason, you had to bid first last time, so Colton, you will be bidding first tonight. Okay, $15. I'm gonna have y'all keep up with it as well.
Spend some money at Tightwad.
Okay. So there's not like a certain number of these events we have to have a piece.
Well, there's 10 events, so you'll have a
okay.
roster of 5, and Colton will have, Mason will have a roster of 5. Okay, here we go. So Colton, you will start the bidding. The first sporting event you will be bidding on is the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament, better known as March Madness.
Like the whole tournament?
Man.
The whole tournament. Like I said, the events I named is for its entirety.
Give me $4.
5.
Oh, I like this.
The whole tournament, man. Man. I'll let you have it.
That's a steal.
All right, so Mason has got
the whole March Madness.
March Madness for $5. All right, your next one, Mason, you will start this one out. Super Bowl.
So I'm down to 10.
You have $10 remaining.
I'll give you 2.
I'll go 3.
I'll let you have it for 3. I can't go 4.
I got Super Bowl for 3. I mean, that's I'm
March
in good
Madness
shape
is the
here.
best sporting event on earth.
I'm in good shape though.
I also could get on
Super
to
Bowl, man.
I actually would love to have an argument about how I think the Super Bowl is overrated.
I mean, listen, I
agree, depending on who's in it.
In all fairness, though, we haven't got to see the Titans in the Super Bowl. Now, if the Titans make the Super Bowl, I feel like our opinions are going. The Titans host the Super Bowl in 2030, and if they make that Super Bowl, I think we're going to feel a whole lot different about that statement.
All right, Mason, or actually, it's Colton. Colton's bid, right? Okay. Hello, friends.
Ooh.
The Masters.
Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna go 4.
Oh, I like this.
We have a roster of 5, correct?
A roster of 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go 5.
Ooh. I'm gonna have to let him take it.
Okay.
Oh man,
Mason
he's got 2 good ones, but
two maybe the most.
I feel like he's gonna run out though.
Hyped sporting events.
He's gonna go to a bunch of
$5 left, and Colton has 12. This is good. I like this tonight. This is really good. I hope everybody's listening. All right. So our next one, Mason.
Yeah.
You are starting the bid. WrestleMania.
I'll get.
Low key is probably hype. Like I mean, it really is.
I'll give a quarter.
You gotta give $1.
I'll give $1.
All right, Mason can have it.
All right.
I love how Colton. Like I'm not making fun of. I love how Colton was like low key is probably hype. And then Mason says I'll give $1, and I was just waiting for Colton to be like I'll give 2, and he's like
it would be hype for some people. I mean,
okay, so Mason, you have spent $11.
All right.
All right, next one, Colton, you'll start the bid. MLB World Series.
Yeah, starting out with $1.
I'll give you 2.
All right, I'll do 3.
All right, I gotta let you have it. I just had to make you spend a little bit more money.
Super Bowl and the World Series. Give me football and baseball for sure. Especially if the Braves are in the World Series, would be my number 1.
So, Colton, you have spent $8, and Mason, you have spent 11. Correct?
Okay. Spent $8? No, I've spent $6.
Wait.
You got the Super Bowl for 3 and that for 3.
And MLB for 3.
Yeah, he has 9 left. I have 4 left.
I have 9 left.
Oh yeah. I was looking at different. Yeah, you are correct. You have spent. Yeah. So you have. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Next one, Mason. You're starting to bid, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
The FIFA World Cup.
Ooh. I'll give you $1.
I'll go 2.
I'll go 3.
I'll go 4 for this one.
Well, you got it because I can't spend no more.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
See? All right, man.
I wanted the World Cup. I did want the World Cup.
So thus far, where we're at, Mason has spent $11. He has the NCAA men's basketball tournament, the Masters, and WrestleMania. And then Colton has the Super Bowl, MLB World Series, and the FIFA World Cup. Okay.
Solid.
Your next one. Whose bid is it right now?
Mine.
Okay, Colton, you're starting us off. Here is your sporting event, the NCAA football playoffs.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 3.
I'm going 4. Go ahead and spend your 5.
That would
Now.
I'll let you have it.
I'm going to make a rule. You have to have money.
You have to have
Like,
5. You have to have 5, right?
You have to have 5. You cannot spend
You have 5
all
roster
4.
spots. Okay.
Correct. Because then you automatically get another one, and it could be a good one or bad one.
You can't make up rules in the middle of the game, Dylan.
No, we're doing that. We're doing that
Okay.
because you
Okay.
don't have the money to buy it. So I'm not going to let you spend money, and you
Okay.
have to have 5 roster spots. You have to have it.
Okay.
You can't make up rules in the middle of the game.
That for the purpose of this game,
that
yes.
just
I'm the
means he
moderator.
gets.
I'm the moderator.
Listen. Okay.
That
then.
just
5
means-
and 5.
That
We're
just
going
means the
5 and
next.
5.
No, that just means the next couple he gets automatically if he wants it. If not, he can just pass it to me because I'm out of money.
No. You got
that's not-
$4 left, and I've got 5.
Correct.
And I need 2, and you need 2.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
That
so
is correct.
I'm saying the advantage goes to me because I'll get the bid right now first.
Yeah.
And so my strategy would be I'm gonna stay 3. So you can either choose.
Okay, so I bid $3.50. I still got 50 cents left, Dylan.
No, you can't. $3 sold.
Okay, so
you get it for
$3
$3.
why? Because I can match that. So he has to go higher if he wants it. How's that fair? How come he automatically gets it if we're betting the same thing?
All right.
Because that's the way it works in this game.
No,
We're getting a little bit too political. People are losing us.
I'm getting
$3
hosed.
Colton.
I'm getting
Okay,
hosed
here we
right
go.
now.
I got the college football playoff.
No, this is absolute
Hold on.
garbage.
I'll
Colton,
give
can
you
you-
the
can you
NBA
please-
championship here in a second.
Colton, can you please call front office and let's
Yeah.
see it?
Yeah.
Is it Colton? Yes,
Yeah.
you got it for
$3.
$3.
No,
All right,
exactly.
here we
I
go.
need the
$3.
fans' feedback on this because this is
$3.
absolute. I'm getting hosed.
All right,
All right,
Mason, you got the bid
Mason,
here.
your next one. Your bid here. The NBA Finals.
After this year, I'll go. What do we have left? He has
See,
5.
I've got I've got $2 left.
And you have 4.
You got 4.
See, so what happens if I only bid 2 here, and we come down? We
Then-
both have 2 at the end. Then what?
Then
We'll figure
you
it
see
out.
what I'm saying?
We'll
No,
figure it
you
out.
just-
But what I'm saying is I may bid 1 then, and you may
Yeah.
take that one, and I may get whatever's last.
Let's just see how it plays out. Make
See?
your bid. You're making this complicated. Make
What
your
do you
bid.
No,
want
I'm
here?
not.
You've got $4 left.
NBA Finals. What
I'll
do you?
give $2.
You can have it.
Okay, that's silly. You should just set $1.
No, because now it comes down to it, Dylan. That's what I'm saying. Like, if both of us want this one, and we can only both bid 2.
But what I'm saying
Okay,
though,
so here we go.
but
So
I'm
whose
saying
bid
it-
is it this
like,
time?
It's
It's
mine.
Colton's.
So if I want it though,
Okay.
but if I don't want it, I'm saying though, but you don't know that this one he's about to give me like is
Is
going to
good
be
or
better
bad.
than
I know.
But
So,
Colton
like, I may
has to
take
put
it.
a bid on it.
All
So
right.
he
I have
has
to
to.
make it.
All right.
Right, here we go. Colton, the Daytona 500.
Yeah, see, this one's going to get me because I'm going to go 1.
You can have it.
Right, and I had $1 left over. See, and that's what I'm saying. Now I had to do it though, so I had to take the Daytona.
All right, the next one and final one is going to be Colton. Did you have money left over, or
I had
did
$1.
you?
I had $1.
So you had $1
left.
left over. Okay, so we was closer. I like that. The next one and last sporting event, the Ryder Cup.
Ah,
Yes.
yeah, it fell through.
Money.
Mason, place your bid, Mason.
$1, Bob.
Okay, so then you had $2. I think
He had $1
over,
left over.
or-
1.
We both
Yeah,
had
well, 'cause he
$1
just
left.
spent-
Both
yeah.
have 1 left over.
See, Mason, it all worked out. I told you was making it complicated. Okay, so here's the
It did,
lineup
but don't
real quick
change
for
rules.
those listening. no, for now on you can't. But the reason why we're doing that,
Okay,
Mason,
that's
is
fine.
because,
That's fine in the future, but you can't say that halfway through the game.
Okay, well, every time we do this game, we're not going to do it next week, but whenever we do this
It's
again,
like-
you have to have the same amount of raw. Like you have to have 5 spots
Yeah, I
that
feel
you've
that,
used
right.
money on. You cannot get a spot just because you didn't have money, or else
Okay.
I'm going to give them to Mason or Colton. All right, so Mason, your sporting events go the NCAA men's basketball tournament, the Masters, the
WrestleMania.
NBA WrestleMania, WrestleMania, the NBA Finals, and then the Ryder Cup. Okay, Colton, yours is the Super Bowl, the MLB World Series, the FIFA World Cup, the NCAA football playoffs, and Daytona 500. We may have to post this on our socials and see.
That's pretty close. I'll be honest
What's your
with
vote,
you.
Dylan? What are you going with?
So this, I think it's all like it's what
It is.
I mean, he would love yours most.
So for
because you
me,
have
I'm going to go
NBA and
yours because it has the
yeah.
NBA, it has Masters, Ryder Cup.
Yeah,
I can't.
it's all
stand,
about what you like to watch.
It's right, yeah. But like you take, just take a person, your typical probably baseball fan. Most baseball fans don't love
have more
NBA.
variety.
Right.
Like,
well, you take this. I probably have at least 2, if not 3, of the most viewed viewership in the Super Bowl and the World Cup and probably the college football playoffs, based on viewership. If you look at the views on TV, I probably have 3 of the most viewed sporting events in the world.
I mean, March Madness, you add them all up.
Well, yeah, but that's because of football's not. But individually, the football playoffs.
Yeah.
Now, I'll
Because
tell you
let's be
this.
honest with you, if Kentucky got beat first round, I kind of check out of the March Madness a little bit.
For the purpose of this podcast, I feel like, and especially in the people we know, I think majority is going to go Mason because right away they see the NCAA March Madness and they see Masters, Ryder Cup.
Yeah,
Like
No,
they
I
don't look
agree.
at the
I
finals,
agree.
they don't look
It'd
at
be basic.
WrestleMania. But for the variety as a whole, yeah. I mean, we're not even including. I mean, Colton's got the FIFA World Cup. I mean, that's bringing in a total different
That's bringing the whole world.
population. Correct. So, I mean, it would be a good one. All right, let's get into some golf. Here we go. Joe, like that? I feel like that was a good, pretty.
That was good.
All right, so get into the golf. Scotty, Mrs. Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler misses his first cut in 4 years. Tom Kim gets the win. This is in reference to last week at the Genesis Scottish Invitational. I'll lead off by saying this. Y'all know, and for the ones who've heard us talk golf, I'm a big Scotty fan. I love watching him play. I feel like it's because, I wasn't really, really big into golf in those Tiger years. So, like, it brings me much joy watching greatness and, like, at least somebody in, like, who is close to that, or at least is the only thing that we will see for a while or have seen in regards to the stats and everything that he's doing during his prime days. Not saying shade at Rory, but when looking at stats and just the run the past 2 years he's had. But I don't look into much about this missed cut. I was looking at some of his stats today. Obviously, he's still number 1 in world ranking, and it's by a ton. He still has won this year. He has 1 win. He has 9 top 5 finishes. 4 of them were second place finishes. 2 of them were third place finishes. He leads the tour in scoring average, shots gained total, shots gained approach to the green, and greens in regulation percentage. So if you're going to sit here and state that Scotty is not Scottian, I feel like you got to pump the brakes a little bit in comparison to the past 2 years where he won 4 or 5 times. Yes, maybe. But I mean, you give that stat right there, Colton, to anybody else on tour, anybody, maybe even a Roar. I'm just like, they're going to take it. Like it's just, he was on such a dominant run. And I think it was just one of those things that we kind of forgot how hard golf can be. How hard it is for these players to win. Tom Kim's a perfect person to look at. Took him how long to win? He won like 3 times in the span of 3 or 4 years, and then hadn't won in 2 or 3 years, and kind of fell off pretty much since the last President's Cup almost. Like he's not really been. So that's been 2 years, and then all of a sudden he gets top 10 last 2 weeks ago at the U.S. Open, or not 2 weeks ago, but at the U.S. Open, and then
The
he starts
truest,
playing well.
yeah.
The truest, like he's starting to perform, and then boom, he's here again. Do you have any worries?
No, I think I would still choose Scotty to probably win this week in the Open. I do think it's just come from little things, like he's had that one round where he's got off too slow, or he's had a random. There are a few things, and I don't know if it's because I will say there's been a few more shots where it seems like maybe him and Ted Scott haven't been on the same page. A little bit as far as like some things with the wind, like just watching even the end of that Scotland thing, there was a couple that you're like, okay, this is right about the time that Scotty throws a dart and gets back in contention, and it just seemed like he come up short of a green, or he come up, they always bragged about, and what's Scotty's been so good at is they bragged about Tiger always hitting it pin high. Like that was the number one thing. Like he always tried to focus on hit your irons pin high. Well, that's what Scotty does. Like his bad shots are 15 feet pin high. And then you started seeing some more though this year where he's like missed short because he's misjudged the wind, or he's misjudged some. So I think there's a little bit of disconnect there, not necessarily but he might be overthinking some things or trying some things out that maybe he is trying to work on, and it just hasn't worked out yet. And so I feel like if he gets back to where he can tweak it back or find kind of where he was at, I mean, he's going to win again, or he's going to be right there. I mean, I would expect him to be at least top 5 again, top 10 this week.
Right. It's not been that he's not been there. He's been there like every Sunday. Like whether he's 6 shots behind, he finds himself cracking top 10 more times than he doesn't. So he's going to be there. It's just, can he get over the finish line, Mason? Can he do that? And, for me and you, especially the type of caliber golfer we are, looking at the inconsistency we have, it kind of really reels it back into reality of just like how everything has to work, and that 5-foot putt you have to make, because when you don't make, someone else has made it. And that's what it comes down to. It comes down to making putts here and there. You take the Travelers, Scotty misses a 4.5 footer where from what I've heard from Kevin Kisner, on his podcasts and stuff, is like he hit the perfect putt. He just misjudged the speed. Like he knew that he had to make it, so he was not going to lag it. He was going to get it there with speed. Had Hovland get up there and misses that, Scotty probably makes it. It's just a missed 4.5 footer as opposed to a Hovland 8 footer made, and that's the difference of the tournament. So, I mean, Mason, I know you're pretty big on Scotty too. Not saying that Colton's not. Colton is, but just going for you to like. Let me ask you this: do you think he will win again this season? Not what you want. Do you really think he will win again this season?
I think he will. I just think Colton's kind of alluded to it, but I just think like it's just been like one round almost every tournament, right? Like I feel like there's been several tournaments this year where he's 8 to 10 shots off the lead going into the weekend, and then he may make up a couple on Saturday, and then Sunday, he shoots 8, 9 under, and he's right there in the thick of it. He maybe needs a bogey from somebody coming down the finish to get into a playoff or something like that. But I don't know if you've seen it, Dylan, but it's been on X. Have you seen his proximity to the hole from like his approach distances?
I've not. What you got for me?
So it's 2024, 2025, and then 2026. So in 2024 and 2025, from inside 100 yards to 225 to 250 yards, his proximity to the hole, he was outside of top 50th 2 times. In 2024, 225 to 250, he was ranked 61st. And then in 2025, from 200 to 225, he was ranked 55th. This year, he's only inside the top 50 in one category, and that's 150 to 175 yards. So I just feel like that he just hasn't been as sharp, right? Like he hasn't been able to put it as close as he has been. And we know like he's never been the greatest putter, right? Like he kind of goes through hot streaks and cold streaks, and like that's the strength of his game, is being able to put it in there close or, have an easy 2-putt par, right? Like the closer he is, the better. And I just feel like that's been a little bit off on tournaments. And that's what we've seen, right? Like he has one day where he may shoot 1 or 2 over. And, that just shows me there that like he's just not as sharp. Like obviously he's still been playing well. He's still kind of been right there with it, but he just cleans those things up and kind of gets back to how his iron and wedges were the past 2 years. And obviously he's going to be right back in it.
Hearing that stat, especially the 100 and in, like when I think for these PGA Tour players, like the 120 and below, I think all feel, so Colton, it makes me think like seeing the way that him and Ted Scott have maybe bickered back and forth, if like he's almost getting too, I'm not saying, I don't know, maybe getting too analytical rather than letting that feel aspect.
Here's his ranking. 2024 inside 100 yards first. 2024, 100 to 125 yards, first. 2025, inside 100 yards, fourth. 100 to 125, second. This year, inside 100 yards, 57th.
Yeah.
100 to 125, 94th.
Oh.
And that's what I was alluding to it. If you watch, they're not getting pin high. That's the issue. Like he's coming up, like he's having a 30-footer up the hill because he's come up 30 foot short. Like it's not, they're not getting pin high is the biggest issue. It's not that he's missing left and right. He's missing long or short a lot of times now. And I just don't know if he's not playing. Like that's where I think he's almost overthinking every shot, like in a way.
Well,
like
at that point, it's not your putting. It's
no, and you're only going to make so many 30 footers. I mean, you just are.
And I mean, I'm not a good golfer, but I'll tell you, like inside of like 60 yards, I don't even want a number. Like I just go up there and try to feel it.
Yeah.
Like, and
I do want a number
like,
just so I know. I mean, I could do it without it, but I like knowing just to know.
I just want to feel it. And I don't know, like you said, Colton, I don't know if Scotty's just like overthinking it. If he's like, okay, it's playing, it should be 110, but we got wind, just go up here. Like I just like feeling it whenever I get inside it. I'm not even a great golfer, but I feel like like inside 60, I do a lot better when I'm just like trying to feel it and just not worrying about everything else.
It'd be nice to feel like that 60-yarder, like a member guess, that'd be a good place to like really feel that 60 yards.
It would be. My wedges are pretty good right now.
Yeah. It'd be like a nice time to, throw like, hey, with a partner or something, be like, what's the yardage? Oh, don't tell me, partner.
Watch this. Dude, look at this picture. I'm going to send you a picture. Look at it when we get done. Me and Trevor last week in our men's league.
Okay. I'm glad you're playing with somebody at least in golf. Not me. All right, Colton, lead us into this overrated golfer segment. However, I do want to go first, but lead us into it.
I'll let you into it. So, I mean, me and Mason were looking at the same thing, and we saw, I'm sure you may have saw it, the graphic where it was talking about like Tom Kim being 20. Is he 22 or 24? How old is he now?
I think he's 24.
Younger than Ludwig, right?
He's young, or either the same age or is younger.
He's 24.
He's 24. So, but it was comparing like him and Ludwig, how like he's got 4 wins and so many and top finishes in majors compared to Ludwig, who's got 2 wins and so many top finishes in majors. And then I guess it made you really kind of think of like Ludwig a little bit, and in a way, like, do we hype him up? And so then I got to thinking just overall, like, who are some of the most like overrated golfers? And what do you consider overrated? Me and Mason kind of talked about that too. I was like, I don't even know what you consider, because there's guys that play their PGA Tour for 25 years and they've only got 1 win, and it might have come in some random, like the ISCO championship in Louisville last week, right? And I mean, but they've been on the tour for 20 years or 15 years, and that's all they got. So then do you claim a guy who's actually got 6 or 7 wins over a 20-year career as overrated? I don't know that you can, but I think that it's interesting to think, who would you think as overrated? And so I'm going to, you go first.
I'm going to go
DG.
first.
You go first, DG.
Okay.
I know my boys probably going to get mentioned here.
I think it's very interesting what you stated, Colton. How do you view overrated? Because when I was looking at this, I was like, I had a couple different thoughts. My first thought was like, okay, I can't really consider somebody overrated if they've won a major, but I could. But like I'm gonna do polls, so I'm gonna, like I've done some players, and I wrote more than 5, I think, but I'm not gonna name them all. That like I would throw out there based on the category who hasn't had a major but has been very hyped or something. And then I also done like a pool of players who was so hyped, won a couple majors, but then kind of it felt like it just depends on the way you're looking at it. For me though, you're gonna hate it. But it's an obvious number one for me. For me, it is. Number one, you're talking about a guy who's been on the tour for 16 years, has all the hype every week he's in. He's bright orange camo,
This
the
guy.
long hair.
This guy.
He has now hear me out. The guy has 6 PGA Tour wins, 0 majors. His highest ranking in the world was number 4. The hype, the amount of hype he gets, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, you're doing something right if you have this kind of hype.
It's more of a popular thing than a hype for golf game.
I
Like,
agree.
I think it's more of a
But it's got to be
popular
Ricky
because
Fowler
of-
for me. Way overrated.
Man, that's tough.
I
think
hate.
He said,
his
man.
hype
hate
comes
doing
from
it.
the type of guy he is, not
Coach
the.
said that earlier.
not
He's
his
like, I
golf
know
game.
Ricky's going to get mentioned.
I hate doing it to you. I do. But that for me was
This
an
guy, I knew he
obvious
was gonna get
choice.
mentioned.
I know
got
he's
similar.
your boy. I know he's your boy, but like Mason, be honest, you're kind of like you haven't laid weight in. Would you agree? Like he is in that pool of overhype that's been on tour for a long time, only has 6 PGA Tour wins. He hasn't won a major. Like
I mean, yeah, and I don't know that it's so much like I know he got hot there for a little bit, but I think it's just like his popularity, right? Like I don't know
but
it's so
still
much
though,
that
the
everybody thinks
popularity
like
though, you can't really just say that because popularity goes into hype. Over like that. That's the part of it of being overrated. Okay, how do you get that hype?
I mean,
Well, it doesn't matter. It could be your play popularity, but then people are eyes are glued to you. People want to see Ricky Fowler. So then, therefore, I mean, I think that's why he's underrated. I don't want to go on too long, but that's my number one. Colton, who would be
Go ahead, Mason.
one that you or Mason? Who
Go
do
ahead,
you want to
Mason.
throw in there?
so mine, and I know he's not a fan favorite, so to say. But I'm gonna go with Patrick Cantlay.
Oh, that was my number 2.
Yeah. Dylan, kind of speaking back to the major thing. Like I think he has 8 career PGA Tour wins. And
Yep,
I know he's been
8.
on several, Ryder Cups and, has kind of always been in that conversation, at least since I've really been paying attention to golf.
Do you know his best
but
major finish?
3rd
No,
twice.
I got T9.
No, I was 3rd twice, I'm pretty sure.
Do y'all remember? Just so you know, Ricky finished 2nd in all 4 majors one year. Did y'all know
I didn't
that?
say that. Coach,
Did y'all know that he finished 2nd in all 4 majors one
Hey,
year?
if you're not first, you're last.
I mean, well, y'all just bring up 9th best finish. I was like, well, at least this guy got 2nd.
Okay,
I'm
well,
pretty sure Cantlay's
I agree,
is
though.
3rd, but
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, Cantlay's one of mine. Like, I just feel like he's kind of been in that conversation since I've been paying attention to golf. That like, oh, he's gonna be on the Ryder Cup. He's one of the best guys on tour, and like, yeah, he might win every now and then, but he hasn't won a major. I feel like he's not that guy who's gonna.
He was a T3.
Yeah,
I didn't have that one.
Yeah.
2019
so,
PGA.
and I know there's been a lot of drama around Cantlay, but yeah, I think he's definitely one of the most overrated. Like,
The only thing you could bounce back, Devil Advocates, he did win. Didn't he win a FedEx Cup? Didn't he win that?
Yeah.
2021?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he did, maybe.
Yeah, that would be the only thing you could say. But that was my second one, Mason. I wrote that one down.
Yep.
Colton, who was yours?
I mean, you could say the same thing about this guy, and I love this guy, I really do. But I'm going to go with Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah.
I mean, one PGA victory. He's 34, 35 years old. Yes, obviously he's up there every week. He's one of the top players in the world. There's no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, you're going to look at a lot of those win losses, and he's not going to have very many wins unless he picks it up. I really was hoping that he took off and he had 3 or 4 wins this season after winning the Tour Championship finally and winning his first PGA event at the Tour Championship. And the thing is, I mean, that's an event that did they do the Head Start last year, or was that it was straight up last year? Okay. I was going to say, I was like, well, I couldn't remember if they cut it off last year or if it's this year.
Yeah, because we've had that talk about it.
Yeah. But I'm going to go Tommy Fleetwood. And like I said, I think he's a great player. I do. But I mean, when it comes down to it, when you look at the wins loss, I mean, he should have a lot more than what he's only got one on the PGA. So be 34, 35.
Yeah.
So that's who I'm at.
That's y'all want to, before we collectively do one, do y'all want to throw any more around and I think for the next ones, maybe we do some people with more of a rack of maybe has some or one individual majors that still but is there any more like this that would fit in this category?
No, I think those are probably the two or three that fit the.
I had one more.
Who'd you have?
Max Homa.
I feel
6
like
PGA Tour wins.
I'm a little hit or miss because he wasn't hyped until his social media.
I feel like it's just his popularity.
His social media hyped. It wasn't his golf game. He had a run. But if I was going to go with anyone, I would have said Tony Finau.
I also would have had him.
I think Tony Finau would have been one because he's got 5 or 6, 7 wins too, and so. But okay, my first thought in this goes to Bryson.
Same,
100%.
Same,
100%.
I could see it, but I didn't write him down.
I mean, he may prove us all wrong this week, but you missed all 3 majors this year.
I just feel like Bryson's so hit or miss.
Can I give you my argument on that?
Sure.
Real quick, of why I wouldn't put him down.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it's just way too early. Like, how old is Bryson? He's like 20.
30.
Okay, but 30. All right, he has.
He's 32. He turned pro 4 years after Cantlay.
Yeah.
Okay, but also Patrick Cantlay doesn't have 2 majors and doesn't have how many.
I feel like all the hype around Bryson is he just smashes the ball. The other parts of his game are not that good unless he just gets hot 1 week. Like that's what he relies on.
I'm not arguing that part. I'm just stating he also though still has more PGA Tour wins and 2 more majors than the guy you're comparing him to. Now, if you're comparing like a Bryson overrated to somebody who's won majors, then yes, I could hear that. And you give me another, let's just say another 5 years. Then yes, I could hear that. I could hear that. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not
Here's all I'm gonna say. If you're a YouTuber and you go on and make a video with Steph Curry and he outplays you, you're overrated.
And like I said, Bryson may win this week. I'm not saying like Bryson get hot and Bryson's obviously his long drive. So like Bryson may win multiple more majors. I'm not saying he won't. I just think in the moment right now, I don't think like he should be still on the upward. And he's not right now. Maybe he turns it around. Maybe he comes back.
And then also, but let me bring us back to reality. Okay, let's keep in mind as much as you are, and I'm just trying to, for the audience, I'm playing the other side here. Yes, he's missed 3 cuts, but literally just last year he had two T2s at the was it the US? No, the PGA behind Xander Schauffele. Right?
Yeah.
And then whichever one, and then he won the US. It's not like this has been like occurring for 3 or 4 straight years. Like it was just this year. I get where you are coming from. It's just, I think it's way too early to say he's overrated completely as a whole. Maybe right now and just for this year, I could get on that, but like, I'm just looking at this as a career thing for these people. I don't know. Maybe that makes. What did he have last year? I know he was like in contention.
Here's what I look at. If you give, I'm not gonna say every other player, but let's just say if you give 50% of the PGA Tour his distance, how many of those guys are gonna be better than Bryson? Right, like his short game's not good.
You can't say that. You can't. You've been on here before and said something like, you can't say, well, what if Steph Curry was 6'8"? You have said that yourself. Like you can't say that,
Dylan. I'm just sitting here and saying like that's what makes him like. You can sit here and say the other parts of his game are not that good. Like he relies on smashing the golf ball.
Okay, last year he had a T5 at the Masters, a T2 at the PGA, and a T10 at the Open. Like. That was last year. Now, again, I'm just saying last year. So, all right, well, I'm going to throw one out there for you then. Jason Day. Jason Day has 13 PGA Tour wins, one major and was the number one player for 51 weeks. And he only has one major, 13 PGA Tour wins.
I was going to say, I feel like,
I think you could probably put him and like an Adam Scott in the same category.
I feel like Day was really hyped before we got into golf, though.
Y'all got to stop saying this hype and being overrated. How in the world are you hype without being overrated?
Okay, I will say this. I think Jason Day's injury problems set him back because he was.
I can hear that. I'll take that. But don't tell me that just because they're hype doesn't mean they're overrated.
Right, no, yeah. I just think that I think his injuries set him back because he was on that run and then he had his back problems and he had the vertigo and all of a sudden, like within like a year or two, he had to step away and then he just has never gotten back to like he's still a consistent player. Like he still had. I think he still made like the top 30 last year in the FedEx Cup. Like he's still right there, but. And it'd be the same thing with Adam Scott. I mean, he's played how many majors in a row now? Like he's played every major in the last like 20 years almost. Like, I mean, it's an insane amount of majors he's played consecutively. Adam Scott, he's got 14 wins, but he's got what, one major, the Masters? I don't even know that he had to.
That's all he has. That's all.
And it's been as pure as his swing is. You think about how everyone talks about if you had to reenact anyone's swing, it would be Adam Scott's. I mean, that swing should have accumulated to probably more than what he's had. I mean, especially major golf.
Mason, I hope you hear what I'm saying though. Like you can't.
I don't guess. I mean,
say a player is they're just hype.
I don't mean hype. I mean popularity.
Well, okay, so like, still the same thing.
No, it's not.
Okay,
let
me give you an example. Let me give you an example. James Harden in the NBA. James Harden, most people would say, is overrated because he hasn't won anything. Well, you can't just say, well, it's just because of the hype. No, he's just really good at scoring. He's terrible at defense. He's terrible. So, like, you can't just say, like, okay, that Bryson thing, like, he can just hit it far. Well, that's part of it. Like, he's hype because of what he can do special.
Okay.
I can't, like, that's part of it.
No, I'm just sitting here saying, like I'm gonna give you a comparison, like a LaMelo Ball. Like everybody kind of knows who LaMelo Ball is because he's kind of funny and he's a little bit flashy, but nobody thinks he's the best player in the world. Like,
but I don't think that means necessarily. But I don't think that you like to be the best player, you have to be overrated.
I'm just saying, like I don't think anybody. Maybe back in the day, people were like, "Yeah, Jason Day's really good," but like now, I just don't think everybody's like, "Oh, Jason Day's overrated."
Yeah, well, let's find somebody that we all can get on.
I think the reason the conversation with Bryson is because if you think of your top 10 players in the world, you probably should think of Bryson. But the reality is he a top 10 player in the world? And that's the thing about it. Because if he's not,
now,
like
no.
he should,
but last year on the Ryder Cup, who did you all want? We all wanted Bryson.
He did not perform in the Ryder Cup either. Like he was a letdown.
I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying like it changes. Well, then who's somebody we can all agree on, and then we'll throw in our picks. Say it.
I don't who. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think he's had a fall off, but I think you could easily say Spieth.
That's why I was waiting for somebody to mention maybe a Jordan Spieth.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's just hard.
I feel like you could say the same thing about JT.
He's got 3 majors. JT's just won the PGA a couple times, but he ain't won anything, you know.
Yeah.
So that's where you run into the flash. Like I said, I mean, JT's got 16 wins. If you really look, I mean, it's
Spieth
just
only has 13.
I mean, that's crazy. I mean, when you think about how many guys play on the tour, you think about the amount of wins. Like, I mean, it's tough to say, but yes, it goes up and down. So yeah, you could throw Spieth out there, you could throw Finau, Day. They've all had their moments where they've been really good, and just like we all know, this game humbles you real fast.
Oh yeah, sustainability. All right, well then let's get talking about Jordan Spieth. Actually, his last major was at the Open, when ironically this week it was at the Royal Birkdale where they're playing this week's Open. Not going to go into details just because we're coming up on an hour 23 here. Let's throw our picks out. If you are still with us, thank you. We appreciate that. But here is our Open picks. Mason, start with you. If you want to do 2 picks and a dark horse, taking out
Taking
I'm sure
out Scotty.
taking out Scotty,
Scotty and Rory.
big dogs.
Take out Scotty and Rory.
Okay. I'm going my two top dogs. I'm going Fitzy, and I'm gonna go Fleetwood. I like
It's in
Fleetwood.
his hometown.
Mm-hmm. And then my sleeper, I was kind of debating, but I think I am gonna go Spieth. I don't know that he's gonna win it, but I feel a good week coming from Jordan Spieth.
The only reason why you're saying that is because he got on there and made those comments about how he is swing.
He thinks he can still get back to number one in the world.
Yeah. He says whenever like he gets hot, he can fill it up with as good as the best of them. Yada yada, this that.
Oh yeah.
Colton, who you rocking with?
So I'm gonna rock with John Rahm as one of them, and I'm also gonna rock with Bobby Mack as the other one. And my dark horse is going to be Patrick Reed.
I like that. I like Patrick Reed.
I think Patrick Reed's just steady, consistent. I think it's going to play firm and fast, meaning that Patrick Reed's not been the longest guy. Like, he's very consistent. So I think it'll help kind of the short knockers. So like, it was between him and Hatton. You may choose Hatton, but it was between him and Hatton for my dark horse. I think the firmness will help those two, like, be in contention with some of these guys.
Yeah. I really only have one big dog because the next two are both kind of real big sleepers. My first one is going to be Cam Young. He's kind of not like falling off the rails, but he was hot early in the season. He's been more just quiet as of late. So I think this would be his big coming out party again, probably, hopefully. And then my next two, listen, this is just not the year of the big dogs. Even though Rory won, other than that, you look at Aaron Rye. Nobody was thinking Wyndham Clark. So I'm going to go with somebody who played very well last week. The way he hits his ball, he can hit a low stinger, Minwoo Lee. I think he can run it up there. I think, did y'all see where there has been 3 straight, I know he's not American, but 3 straight Americans win the Open. So that could be something that's broke, whether it be Europe or Australia. And then my last one, I text y'all this. Do y'all remember? Who did I tell you was going to win the Open? I said, mark my words. I text y'all like 2 or 3 months ago. Do y'all remember? He's a bulldog. Not
Russell
a long
Henley?
knocker. He don't hit it far.
Who, Russell Henley?
I think he was a bulldog. I know he lived in Georgia.
Harris
Mr.
English?
Brian Harmon.
Brian Harmon. Hey, I do have him in a couple for top 20s. Yeah.
He doesn't hit it far. Is bouncy and fast. It's going to play like that's why he probably won the Open last year. The conditions, if they get bad, like he's a grinder, he's a bulldog, like our
he's
man
a little
bulldog
shifty around the
show.
greens, and you're going to have it. You're going to have some different shots, and he's pretty good around the green. So I mean, I like it. I like it. It'd probably be Wyndham Clark. I don't know if I probably in it.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get into the daylight savings time, but we'll get in that possibly next segment. Yeah. We're coming up one of our longest episodes we've had, but thanks for listening. This has been another episode of Bluegrass State of Mind, and as always, everyone, go Cats.
That's a wrap for this episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, be on the lookout for our social media pages and be sure to follow them. We've got plenty more stories, insights, and conversations coming your way. And if you really loved it, make sure to share it with a friend. From the hills to the hollers, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep that Kentucky spirit strong.